Welcome back. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone on AYV Television. We're on channel 33, we're on DSTV on channel 399, on Radio FM 101.7. We're also online, AYV Sierra Leone. Don't forget to send your comments on our Facebook page. We'll definitely find time to read them out. You can be part of the program, drop your comments, questions, and be a part of the conversation on the show this morning. In the first segment of the show, Teachers Solidarity Movement has given a 21 days ultimatum to the government of President Bio to look into their conditions of service. The movement says they are demanding harmonization of salaries, inclusion of all PIN-coded teachers on payroll, payments of school subsidies before the start of any term, lucrative rent allowance of not less than 1 million leones a month, a minimum transport allowance of not less than 1 million leones a month, and a free medical for teachers and their dependents listed in their NASIT updated form. So this morning, to discuss these demands and other issues, we have Mohammed Khan. He's the interim chairman, Teachers Solidarity Movement. He's with us in the studio. We're expecting to have Augustine Bami Anthony, Communications Officer at the Ministry of Senior and Secondary School Education. We're also expecting to have a representative from the Sierra Leone Teachers Union because we extended invitations to all of them. But we have Mr. Khan with us in the studio. Good morning, sir, and welcome to the program.
Good morning, Lamrana, and good morning to the people of Sierra Leone.
Those demands, these are governments that repeatedly they've been saying they've increased salaries of teachers than ever before. You know, they're very committed. The minister keeps saying every other day that this government is very committed to the welfare of teachers. What brings about those demands?
Well, of course, yes, this statement is not a surprise to us because the minister is on record telling the president or the country that teachers are well taken care of, which to us is a mockery. It's provocative on our side. You know, when the government, the president in his maiden speech, the opening of parliament, he promised our profession to be an enviable one and that those teachers who have left the profession for other places of work will envy to come back. But it's the complete opposite we are experiencing these days. You know, first of all, let me start with my colleagues or officials of the ministry that you invited together with us. You know, it is not a burning issue to them. That's why they are not here on time. But because it is a burning issue to me, I'm feeling it. I say, who feels it knows it. You know, that's why I'm here on time to answer to this call. And
but quickly before we move to the other issues, the ministry has repeatedly they've been saying that they are in engagement with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. Are you not part of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union? Which other body is this? Because the SLTU is the known body that usually negotiates with governments on conditions of service for teachers.
Yeah, thank you very, very much for that. We did know that the SLTU is the body that has the bargaining power to negotiate on behalf of teachers. And that's more the reason we've engaged with SLTU, right? We put our demands to them for onward submission to the government.
You are not part of SLTU?
We are SLTU. Every teacher in this country that is receiving salary is part of SLTU. As long as they are PIN-coded, they are part of SLTU, right? Either willingly or unwillingly, we are part of SLTU, right? So SLTU, for far too long, have been negotiating for us with government in, government out. But our conditions have not changed, right? So this time around, that's why we said in our message, in our open letter we did to all education stakeholders, including the media, I said, we want to negotiate with government on our own behalf, our very self, not SLT negotiating for us. But because we know, I'm coming, but because we know it is only SLT that government listen to, that's why this time around we decide to collaborate with them to negotiate with. You see, I'm not branding SLT to be a bad body. You understand? I personally know the challenges they do face, right? They may want this, but government will say no.
You don't have trust in them to negotiate on your behalf, that you so want
well, this time round, we don't have absolute trust in them to negotiate on our behalf. Because for far too long, they've been negotiating and our conditions haven't changed. So that's the reason. Yeah? This time, we want to be in partner in carrying out the negotiation.
Okay, the ministry in a press statement, the minister clearly mentioned about conditions of service of teachers, how they've increased salaries. So why are you making these demands? Okay. Has that not been reflective in your salaries, the increase?
Well, it is not reflective on our daily living. Yeah? You cannot give me pittance, then you say I have sufficiently increased the salary of teachers. Now, Lamrana, let's say you've been receiving 700,000 as a basic salary, and they made an increment of 30% of that basic salary. What is the addition to that? 700,000, 30% of it added is something like 210,000. So 210,000 plus 700 is 910. What is 910 these days? So a teacher who's gone to college, has his or her certificate, is in the school teaching, then you pay that teacher less than 1 million. We have teachers that are still paid less than 1 million. Yeah, right? We have teachers who are graduates, we have teachers who are master's holder that are receiving 1,300,000.
But it's progressive. This government has to some extent.
It is in a snail pace.
Yes, but do you appreciate the progress it's taking, you know, to address the conditions of service? Because
no, we don't know.
About the commitments that you're having from them, that they can even tell you, we're committed to this, we're going to do this with time. Isn't that some political commitment?
Honestly, to me, it's lip service. Honestly, to me, it's lip service, right? I keep saying this, that if governments, as the minister is on record saying we are the largest workforce, if they believe that we are the largest workforce, okay, now they are paying us pittance, and there are those smaller groups in other MDs paying them huge amounts of money. Okay, those small assets that are receiving huge sum, let's harmonize it. Let them come back to our level, you understand? For instance, if you are a master's holder, being a director elsewhere, and you are receiving 10, 15 million as the case may be, and a master's holder in a school is receiving 1,300,000, fine. Bring down that person, that director who is a master's holder is receiving 15 million. Let him receive 1,300,000. So that the remaining of his money, government puts into developmental projects.
Let's make it some data that the minister shared this morning. It says there are about 68,000, over 68,000 teachers in the public schools. Among the public teachers, there are 36,000 on payroll, and from the data, teachers make up 40.3% of the total workforce, nearly half of it. And government has this responsibility and burden to spend in other areas. And we all know the economic situation in the country. Why not, show some understanding? Because I was reading the demands there. You're asking for transport allowance, housing allowance, and other benefits. Why not go step by step and see how it improves progressively?
Well, that's the reason why we say we need a harmonization of our salary, right? Because if you give me 40,000 euros as an allowance for transport, sometimes that amount, you only use it for 1 day or 2 days going to your school and back, right? So for the rest of the week, the weeks, or the other days for the month, you don't have money to go to school, right? And if I don't have transport to go to school, I sit at home. So that also will not help with the quality aspect of the education, right? Fine. So that's why we are asking for this money, because we want to be effective going to our schools, do our work effectively, right? And also for the rent allowance. We said, let us have this 1 million a month, because now for you to live in a decent room and a parlor with an inside toilet, it has to cost you more than 5 million, 6 million a year. Fine. And a room and parlor can be occupied by a family with just the couple, maybe with a kid. More than that, you need 2 rooms or 3 rooms. So we too are humans. We want to live a decent life, Lamrana.
Do you want all this to be addressed in one go, or you're ready to negotiate, or want SLT to negotiate on your behalf so that it can be progressive? Say we address this first and we look forward to addressing the other issues.
If it is left with me, I will say I want it at a go. Let all my concerns, my demands be addressed at a go, right? But this is a government, and you are asking. In process of asking, you have to come, you sit and negotiate. You understand? Then you will come to a point where you meet together, and that's what we are yearning for, right? I know we cannot get what we demand, all that we demanded, but we need a reasonable, maybe 70% of what we demanded should be given to us now.
So how far with the negotiation? You say you have sent this request to SLTU to negotiate with the government, right? So how far is it going? What updates have you received so far? Because you give an ultimatum.
Well, as at yesterday night, I was informed by the acting Secretary General of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union that today they are having an engagement with the ministry and other education stakeholders, right? So far that is it, because we last met on Sunday. So yesterday, Monday, today, Tuesday. So we are looking forward to it.
In the issue where you don't have trust, you mentioned that you don't have that absolute trust on SLT. Will you have wanted to be part of this negotiation?
Well, of course, yes. We want to be part. We want to be part. That's why we told them that let's collaborate, right? Maybe they can invite one or two of us to be with them when meeting the government, right? So that let them hear from us. Let the government hear from us, from the horse's mouth. Maybe they have been hearing from SLT, but they don't take them for granted. They don't believe what they are saying. You see, but if they called us, we sit together, maybe government will take the matter very, very
You're
serious.
making these demands at a time when globally, the economies are crumbling. Even here, we are faced with serious challenges with economic issues, and the government has a lot of other responsibilities to take care of. Is it not unfair on their part that you could have waited on when things get better, or make some of these demands one after the other?
Well, before things get worse, there was a time SLT negotiated for us to have 100, 200% increment and the like, but they did not honor it. Right? They only give us a laughable 30% increment, right? So there is no time we should not act. We should not ask for our concerns.
What do you mean by laughable 30%? Isn't that reflective in your salary that there is 30% increase to your salary?
Of course, yes. Lamrana, as I said, of all that 30% increment, a graduate is receiving 1,250,000. Is that not laughable? Eh? A master's holder is receiving 1,025,000. Is that not laughable? And very recently, we are seeing the government harmonizing the salaries of civil servants from grade 10 down to 9. Eh? And we know the monies that they put to pay them. Those guys will suffer together at universities, right? So we too have the right to live. We have our family. We have our home to take care of. We have our external relationship to manage. All these things, we have bills to pay. Ebo, we are saying, let the government be reasonable enough. Let them come to our rescue. That is all. So therefore, we demand these things.
Okay, and you are ready to negotiate to reach to a time where you might not, go on industrial action?
Well, like I always say, even the reopening of schools, we don't have the power to say schools should not open or schools should open. The ministry that has the power has ordered that schools should open. Fine, we respect that. The only thing, we have our service to render. We sit at home, we don't go to school.
Do you have kids?
And that action, they too have kids. They too have kids. Let them see to our
But can't you teach until the negotiation is done and see what will come out of it?
No, we'll not say until the negotiation is done. We'll not say that. You see, one thing I believe this time around, even our negotiation should be an open negotiation. Because we don't even want our membership to think we've been influenced unduly. So therefore, this time around, the negotiations should be open. And when the negotiations started, openly, our membership are observing. We tell them, let's go for work. They will heed to that advice and they will go for work. But if they do close negotiation, where our membership are not preview of what is going on, of what is happening, then they have the chance to even deny our order to go back to school because they will not trust us. The simple reason is...
So as at now, your members are holding on to their service or they are teaching?
No, they are holding on to their service. They are holding on to their service.
So even when, you know, you are speaking with the SLTU, you are asking your members to hold on to their service or waiting to hear from the SLTU?
Well, they hold on to their service until we hear from SLTU.
So as at now, you guys are not teaching?
Of course, yes. That's why I'm here. I should be in my school now, at my school teaching. But that's why I'm here.
So how do you think this will affect? The kids are close to examination, public exams. How do you think this will affect them? They are the victims here.
Well, we can assess them for the past 2 terms to promote them. You can assess them for the past 2 terms. Then we'll promote them to another academic year. It's not a novelty. It has happened.
Aren't you being unfair to them as well? This is in their making. Why not
it is the government? It is the government force that is unfair to us and to them.
Why not teach them whilst you continue with your negotiations?
No, well, we will teach provided, as I've stated it, right? We will go to school provided the negotiation starts now and in an open platform.
Okay. We'll come back to you. Continue to stay with us. Let's take a quick story done by our reporter, Aliyu Alvin Kagbo, on the press release that was issued by the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. When we come back, we'll continue with the discussion. Keep watching.
Education is the current flagship program of this government. But according to the teachers, they are not happy with their current condition of service. So they are calling on the government for an improved condition of service for the teachers.
Definitely we are on it, and that's why we have written to the TSC and the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education and all other stakeholders so that we try to sit at the table and reconvene the negotiation, because it's very, very important. You cannot just meet government like that. You get up one bright morning and say, oh, we want 70%, 100%. It is a procedure. We are an intellectual group. That is why we must follow processes and procedures which the whole world will look at us as an intellectual group. If government does not respond, we have a method, very good method. We call general meeting, that is consulting our members. So what do? Generally, we will say 21 days notice, strike, we down our tools. And when we down our tools, we sit at home. But there are some people who will not sit at home. You know who? The school children, they will not sit at home.
The president further explained the reason they are calling for improved condition of service.
Considering the state of the economy, the state of the market, the vicious market prices now, that 1.5 is nothing. It's nothing. You buy a bag of rice, 500,000 units. You have 2 kids. You, your wife, and you have to go to school. You have to pay transport. A lot of other things have to be taken into consideration because he has to pay the debts there. He has borrowed from the bank to pay his rent. The bank would have deducted. And the amount will be, let me say, around 800. He has to pay rent, he has to do this, he has to do that. So he will not be happy. How to apportion that small amount remaining to make life to go on.
In all this, the executive of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union are encouraging their membership to exercise patience and continue to deliver diligent service while urging the government and other relevant stakeholders to address these burning issues as soon as possible. Aliyu Alvin Kagbo, AYV News, Freetown.
Welcome back. Thanks to Aliyu Alvin Kagbo for that report. We want to remind our viewers and listeners again that we indeed extended an invitation to the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, and they did confirm that they will be coming this morning. And also, we invited the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. Can you just add the SLTU? They're asking that you know, you exercise some patience while they continue to negotiate on your behalf, but you're here saying you're here because you're not teaching, you're not in your school to teach.
Well, yes, it is their social responsibility to tell us to go to school, to tell us to exercise patience, right? But as you heard what he said further, that the state of the economy, the market is not favorable. Getting 1,500,000, as the case may be, 1,300,000, it's nothing to write home about, right? Most teachers these days can't afford transportation to go to school. And mind you, Lamrana, when the free quality education came in, there are a lot of restrictions for teachers in schools. You can't hold lesson in school, you can't conduct this in school, don't ask children, don't demand, don't sell like our primary school teachers. They should not make anything to go to school to sell. So where do you think the teacher can get what will augment his salary? Nowhere, my brother. They are in their offices getting what augments their salaries. Whilst we are in the school, they restricted us not to do anything. So how will you want this negotiation to come out? Because there seems to be some issue of trust with the SLTU, and you're calling for an open negotiation. Of course.
And you mentioned earlier the SLTU, the minister even said a few days ago that they're having meetings with SLTU, and you are not part of that meeting. And they're having meeting today again. What if SLTU come out with a statement that they've reached an agreement? Will you adhere? Will you accept?
Well, we will not just accept a statement like that they have reached an agreement, no, without seeing the reality of it. Of course, the ministry did an invite to me, but it was not official. Someone called me and said, you are invited to the ministry. I said, who are you? Your position, please. Who am I talking to? He said, oh, you are invited to the ministry. It's a call from the ministry. I said, well, okay, let it be official. If it's through a text message, okay, I would satisfy.
But they're dealing with the official body, which is SLTU.
Oh, of course, yes, we know. But SLTU didn't call us to the meeting. Understand? The meeting SLTU called us was even arranged by the DD Western Area Urban TSC, that is Rena. Rena met me, he chased me out, he was able to catch me up. So he asked me, he pleaded with me that let us go and sit with SLTU and talk. I said, I never averse talking with SLTU or whosoever, but the thing has to be formal, you see.
Is this a parallel body that you're creating to SLTU?
No, I will not create a parallel body to SLTU.
But that's what it seems, because you want to be on the negotiation table as well, when the SLTU is the union that has the bargaining power for teachers.
Yeah, because the absolute trust is not there. The absolute trust. There is some amount of trust, but the absolute trust is not there. Because, as I said earlier, for far too long, they've been negotiating with government in, government out, and our conditions are not changed. So therefore, this time around, we said, let us be part of the negotiation.
What will you want
I think that's a very reasonable demand.
What will you want to negotiate with the government if you're part of this negotiation? What are the issues that you actually think are the most pressing that should be addressed if the government wants to address these concerns progressively?
Well, first of all, we are tired of government in, government out giving us 10%, 20%, 30% increments, right? Our conditions, even government gives us 200, 300% increments due to what we are paid. It's nothing to write home about. You see, Lamrana, one thing about service, when you are working, you have to think when you shall have retired, right? Having served an institution for 20 good years, right? Very recently, I went for my accrued benefits to check, right? It was less than 30 million. So expecting, let's take it that maybe next year or the other year I retired. I've not got a house, I've not got a car, then I retire. What do you think of me? I will die pauper. My children will not respect me, right? So we are asking that, let government listen to us this time around.
Okay, let me take some few messages on our Facebook page. CJ Man says they have kids, but they are not attending public schools. This action in consultation is affecting only poor man picking them. And Mohamed Lama says, Lam, you know the effort our teachers are giving out, but they need some improved services. Max Jallo says parliamentarian salary is 20 million, wardrobe allowance, rent allowance, the list go on. But teachers' salary is 1.3 million, nothing else, just wickedness. Arthur Tucker is asking, really rent allowance, travel allowance, and free health care? He's asking if that demand is what you're making. Patrick Hui says, let me burst the bubble. The ground not dry at all. We only need to use our natural resources properly. Teachers need to be paid well, period. Lucky White says the government do not value the life of teachers in this country. How can you pay master's degree holder 1 million or 2 million? How do you expect that teacher to take care of his or her family? And Arthur Tucker again says, the money is small for the job, but they should initiate negotiations before going on strike. But strikes before starting negotiation is not good. Alman Alim Conte, Lamrana Alpha Kanu was receiving 500,000 to 600,000 loans during the APC government, but he never came out with this kind of request, and he's only doing this now because he's a pure and qualified APC person. David Stanley Coker, the demands of these teachers are reasonable and legitimate. We have seen officials of the communication unit, for instance, who barely do anything but earn more than 20 million a month. It was shown that the Chief Justice earns up to 190 million a month. These teachers are on the ground. I see no reason why they shouldn't be accorded financial respect and protection. $1 million for them is disrespectful and humiliating. Government must heed to their concerns. Swissman says, I think the teachers are right and they are the most important personalities in society. If Chief Justice and members of the Supreme Court are receiving above 100 million, while the Chief Justice have his qualification to a teacher, why teachers should not have a better condition of service? I am pleading to the government to think positively about the conditions of teachers and to avoid embarrassment, because if government refuse to listen to their request, the parents will not like to see their children sitting at home. Fios Fino says SLTU collects about 6 billion loans every month from the teachers' salaries and nothing is being done for teachers. Joseph Mori Momo says the minister always talk about these 30% increments. How many years to now? What was the cost of rice when this 30% increment was done? We are paying 2,000 for Okada to our schools when this 30% increment done. Today we are paying 5,000 to the schools. We are now using the salaries as transport to our schools. The final one I'll take is from Abdul Kamara. It says, indeed, when teachers strike, it's the poor kids who will suffer. Most of those in government, their kids attend private schools and they are not affected. Please, we are pleading to the teachers to go to school and teach while they continue with the negotiation. You all have kids and we are all parents. Those are the messages we could take so far this morning. We're talking about the demands from teachers, and we have another set of teachers who are actually calling for an improved condition of service. You've heard from the SLTU president. We also invited them this morning to continue this discussion. We've not seen them invite also the Ministry of Basic Education to continue with this discussion. But from those messages, we'll be coming back to our guests to continue the discussion. Let's take a quick break. Welcome back. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone on AYV television on channel 33. We're on DSTV on channel 399. Keep sending those comments on our Facebook page. AYV Sierra Leone will definitely find time to read them out as we've done. Now we've been joined in the studios by Bami Anthony from the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education. Good morning and welcome.
Good morning, and good morning, viewers.
Okay, we'll be coming back to you. Let me get the reactions of Khan quickly. You add those messages, and the last one I want to start with, you know, I'll consider that from a parent who is pleading with you teachers that whilst the SLTU continue the negotiation, you go to school and teach these kids, because they will be the victims, you know, of this whole situation.
Yeah, thank you very much, Lamrana. First of all, I must say, send congratulations and thanks to those who sent in their messages. And I do believe 90% of the messages resonate with the pathetic plight of teachers. So that alone satisfies me. Let me come to the parent who appeal. Yes, we too have kids, right? And most of the children in public schools are children of poor people, right? These people, our officials, their children are not in public schools, right? So they don't care whether we go to school to teach.
They have people they take care of.
Yes, but this country, the law of nature, self first, right? So they care first about themselves. Because if they do care about others, then they will amicably address our problem. Good. But like I stated earlier, that we are not here to hold these children feature blink. We're ready to go for work, but when open platform, it should be open. We should not keep dark to the membership what is going on. Right? They should know what is going on, how the negotiation is going.
So you're demanding that you be included in the negotiation process?
We told SLTU that we should be with them. We collaborate.
Okay.
That is the most important thing.
So let's hear from the ministry. Bami, the teachers here who are part, they agree they're part of SLTU, but they think, you know, they have concerns they want to raise with the ministry. I suppose perhaps you might have seen their public statement, their open letter, demanded for an increase in the provision of transport allowance, housing allowance, and other things. What's the position of the ministry on this?
Thank you very much, Lamwana. When the minister, Dr. David Emmanuel Senga, took a mantle of responsibility at the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, one of the first things among very many things he did was to carve out a way how to bridge that gap between the ministry and the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, the teacher body that is responsible to negotiate on behalf of the teachers. So he proposed a quarterly meeting and engagement. In that meeting, you have the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, you have the Council of Principals of Secondary Schools, you have NACOT, the National Council of Head Teachers. So these people come together on a quarterly basis to discuss issues that affect teachers and, of course, the way to improve on their condition of service. Improvement on the condition of service of teachers is not a new phenomenon. That has been happening over the period, over just 3 years period. And the government has tried to increase the salary of teachers. First, it was 10% that was added as a benefit to especially junior teachers. And then 30% was then added to their regular salary. So that is to tell you that government is committed to ensuring that the welfare of teachers are met. We can't do it enough, we understand, because the service of a teacher translates into so many things. You know, the service of a teacher translates into a president, into a minister, into a medical doctor, into a lawyer. So we cannot pay them enough. I was a teacher myself, did that for 10 years. I did it in a private school, I did it in a public school, I taught in the provincial areas, in the city. I understand the plight of teachers very well. But I want us to have some scenario here. Lamrana, if you say you are going to add 500,000 leones, just 500,000 leones, which is not enough on the teacher's salary across the board, and if you multiply that by 37,000 teachers, and you multiply that by 12 months, you'll be having 222 billion leones that will be added to their regular salary per annum. So it is not an easy decision to make. But however, government in the face of that decided to add 30%, which is above the 500,000, right? So government is working on that. Besides the salary increment, the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, alongside the Teaching Service Commission, also have been improving on the services of teachers.
Okay.
We have trained, as a ministry, we have trained more than 24,000 teachers on how to use the new curriculum, for example, that we have just established, the junior and the senior curriculum. And of course, we have also improved on the services, we have improved on the knowledge on how to deliver the kind of fit-for-purpose type of education that we want in the free quality school education program. We have not stopped by that. We just introduced the Best Teacher Award last year, for which about 48 teachers across the board won monies as a way of motivation. So that is not to say that we have done enough. We will do more.
So you consider their requests, their demands as legitimate?
So I want to also clarify something. We have the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. That is the body responsible to negotiate with government, to engage the Ministry of Education on teacher affairs, right? We will not love to be going silo. For example, the solidarity teachers. By the time we try to bring this on board, we'll have so many other factions that will come that government will not cope with. So what I will encourage my brother is, he is part of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. They are all part of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. It is a common ground to find with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union and table their demands.
They're saying they don't have trust. That's absolute trust in the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. They've channeled their demands to them, but they also want to be part of the negotiation, just so that their members could understand that this is the process, this is what we agree on, so there won't be that suspicion about the negotiation. Okay,
the teaching profession is not the only profession in Sierra Leone. We have the nurses, we have the military, the police, you can call them a civil service structure. So we have to be very careful the way we try to express our interest at certain quarters. Because if we are careful to follow the structure, then we can gain. If you really had wanted to, the solidarity teachers really had wanted to communicate to the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education, there are structures to go through. There are laid down principles to follow. But you cannot just go on social media, for example, asking people to stay home, they don't go to school because you have an interest that you want to seek. That is also not a good one. So the ministry there are so many platforms. There are so many platforms to communicate to government. You can, if you don't want to go to the Ministry of Education or the Teaching Service Commission, you can engage the ACC. You can engage the Ombudsman's office. There is a portal now, a digital portal, the Teaching Service Commission, and the grievance redress mechanism. You can go there and do that. But going public on social media, inciting, that is, I call it incitement. So the ministry doesn't recognize them. You're negotiating. We are talking with the Teaching Service, with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. Recently, we concluded, we had our quarterly meetings with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, the CPSS and NACOT. In fact, there is going to be a follow-up meeting because the president has to be a co-chair at the Secretary General's Education Summit that he's bringing up, for which the Sierra Leone Teachers Union are going to participate, to contribute to talking about teacher affairs, the teaching profession in general. Okay. That is what we are planning. We are not planning to sit down strike. We know the affairs of the teachers, the condition of service of the teachers are not that 100% good as the teachers, as the lawyers, as the doctors, but we have to manage situation. How far are you going with the negotiation? I was listening the national broadcaster this morning, and in Bo, where there was to be a mock examination, it couldn't go on because the teachers who should invigilate these exams did not show up. That was a report on one of their shows this morning. So how far are you moving? And he mentioned that he's here because he's not at the school, and others as well. How are you moving with the negotiation to ensure that the children are not victimized in this situation? You see, because we have not recognized, we have not received any formal complaint or concern from Solidarity as a ministry, we have nothing to respond to at the moment. So what we are following right now is what is the negotiation that we have tabled together with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union. The concerns of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union...
They also have concerns. We just played...
Yes, the concerns of the Sierra Leone Teachers Union and the Teacher Solidarity are almost the same. The difference is how they engage. The Sierra Leone teachers is engaging constructively. So that is where the difference is. So it is not that the Sierra Leone Teachers Union is really asking for something different from that of the Solidarity teachers.
How fast is the ministry moving with that?
We are working on that, and the Sierra Leone Teachers Union are okay with that. They know we are on the right track. That's why you see they try to distance themselves from the Solidarity group.
Okay. I'm continuing to stay with us. We'll come back to you guys in the studio. Can you've heard from Augustine? They are negotiating with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, that they recognize body that they've been working with. And your concerns and that of the SLTU, those of the SLTU, are just the same.
Yeah, thank you very much. I've heard my brother spoke well, right? But he doesn't speak the right thing. Good. Now, my brother seated here was a teacher, as he said. But he left the classroom for what? For greener pasture. Look at him today. It's no personal attack, right? Now come to his statement. He mentioned that the SLTU is okay with their engagement with the government. I want to tell him that SLTU is not okay, right? Government in, government out, SLTU has never been okay negotiating with these people, right? But for one reason or the other, they had to succumb for whatever decision that comes out of their negotiations, right? So I am saying, yes, we take cognizance of the Teaching Service Trade Group Negotiation Council, right? That has the power to negotiate according to the 2004 Education Act. But that notwithstanding, as a worker, I have the right to seek concern of my welfare. And that is what we are doing, right? Yesterday, our colleague in Bo, one of our colleagues, my coordinator for the Southern region, was summoned to a very high-profile meeting for him to go to the radio to denounce the teacher solidarity movement and the like. But it was good, because I so much appreciate the reply you gave to them. And
the ONS issued a statement, the Office of National Security, referring to your call for your statement as inciting as well. Well,
that press, I don't think it comes from ONS. It is not from ONS.
It's from where?
It said Security Task Force.
Yeah, it's from ONS. It was signed by the ONS, the head of ONS.
Well, the one I saw
Abdullahi Koka is the National Security Coordinator.
Security Task Force.
It's the security sector, actually.
It's fine, security sector. Well, I was expecting it to come from the Office of the National Security, but it doesn't bear the logo of the Office of the National Security.
That is how they couch their press releases or public statements most times. But it's signed by them, it's from them.
Well, okay, to me, it's not an incitement. To me. And I keep saying this, even if I'm arrested today, but I keep telling my membership or the Sierra Leone teachers that are suffering, that we are going through the same plight. If they believe in what we are doing, let us stay home. We are not taking any harsh demonstration. We don't take to the street. Let's stay home. Let's hold to our service. If government starts, you see, I keep saying this, that when government starts to negotiate, in an open platform, we see the progress, we tell our membership to go back. Okay. Sometimes I will not even opportune to attend to the negotiation, because if I have a period to go and cover in my school, I have to go there.
So the open platform you're talking about is that you should be involved in the process?
It's an inclusive one.
Okay. But I mean, these are teachers, like he says, and as we speak, there are teachers who perhaps might, be at home, they are not at their schools, and it's affecting the kids. What is the ministry doing to address this as soon as you can?
Yes, so before I go there, he mentioned that he wants the negotiation to be done in an open space. I think We have never negotiated with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union in secret. One of the things we are good at the Ministry of Basic and Senior Secondary Education is we have articles flying all over the place whenever we have meetings of such nature. So it is not in secret. We are negotiating with them in an open discussion forum.
They want to be part of the negotiation, and that's not possible.
Sierra Leone Teachers Union is the body that the ministry talks to. If they want to be part of that, they have to go through the Sierra Leone Teachers Union.
Okay.
But I want to also let these teachers understand that they have guiding principles as teachers. For God's sake, if you are not in class, you've neglected a duty. And meaning you are not ready to teach. If you're not ready to teach, then you are not a teacher.
They can be disciplined.
That is what I want them to understand. If you are here and not in the classroom, and you'll be queried by your boss, by the principal or the head teacher.
Okay.
And when that gets to the Teaching Service Commission, disciplinary actions will be taken against you.
So the ministry will take action. Is that what you're saying against
of
those
course,
who are
if
not
you
teaching?
are not teaching, you are not at work, and you are being queried, and the complaint reaches the Teaching Service Commission, then disciplinary actions will be taken against you.
Okay. Finally, as we try to round up, what assurance do you want to give to teachers, you know, who might be part of the Solidarity or SLT? What assurance are you giving to them on their demands?
So, as I started, the teachers, we all agree, are incredible assets to the implementation of the free quality school education program. They remain integral to the success of the implementation. So one of the reasons we have tried to let them come very close to ministry on a quarterly basis by way of having them in meetings. The Sierra Leone Teachers Union is a body responsible, and they are capable of negotiating teacher affairs. If you are opportune to attend one of the meetings, you see how they table their affairs. Okay. You know, so it is not that they are also conniving, as somebody who would love to think. The Sierra Leone Teachers Union are even more robust when it comes to negotiating teacher affairs. So what I want to let the Solidarity group understand is they have to throw their weight behind the Sierra Leone Teachers Union and let them push with the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, then they will have a common goal.
Should the teachers expect any progress on this? Say,
definitely negotiations are ongoing. Okay. And I will have to reach to a common place. I want to let parents and pupils also understand that the Ministry of Education, Basic and Senior Secondary Education, reopened school for third time yesterday. And that we now have a system where we call it, where the continuous assessment, where we call it their continuous assessment grade using a simple mechanism. So if you are not in school for the first day, then you start missing the continuous assessment progress. We are encouraging pupils to start school yesterday and throughout the end of
Are you encouraging the teachers to go and teach?
The teachers are encouraged. Of course, we want to applaud those who are in class teaching right now because they take their job seriously. Okay. We want to encourage them to continue teaching. For even our brothers and sisters who are one way or the other aggrieved for not going to the classroom, we want to encourage them. We want to allay their fears that the Sierra Leone Teachers Union is enough to handle their matters.
Thank you very much, Augustine. Khan, finally, should we expect you guys to get back to the class and teach?
Well, we will only get back to the class and teach when negotiations start in an open platform, right? That's our stand. Eh? And I'm coming. Yeah, I'm coming. We have not been informed officially yet by SLTU that negotiations have started with the government, right? But what I'm telling Bami is that we can't be intimidated, right? We don't fear any form of intimidation. And that's more the reason we are resolved with this decision.
But you have a responsibility as well. How about failing to go teach and actions? There are procedures and actions to be taken against.
That's why it is open for them to take their actions.
Okay.
Right? We are ready. We have made up our minds. The Teachers Solidarity, the teachers of Sierra Leone have made up their minds. Not only the Teachers Solidarity, teachers of Sierra Leone. Because the bulk of the teaching profession in Sierra Leone, we are suffering.
Thank you very much, gentlemen, for joining us this morning on this discussion. We'll follow up on the outcome of the meetings and negotiations with the teachers. We actually invited the Sierra Leone Teachers Union, but unfortunately, they did not show up. This is Wake Up Sierra Leone. This is how we end this conversation.